In this chapter, I'm going to talk about long document features. Now, the features that I'm going to talk about are not necessarily restricted to long documents, it's just that they're more commonly found in them. However, things like cross-references can be used in a two-page document. It's really simple. Anyway, let's get started by looking at the final product. And what I've done is I have created a cookbook for our Peppers restaurant here, and here I've got the final PDF. So if I scroll down here like this, you can see we've got after the cover, we come to the table of contents, and then we have a little introduction, followed by various sections on appetizers, entrees, desserts, beverages, and then down to an index and the back cover. Now, in this particular case, it's not particularly long, but if this were a real cookbook with a lot of recipes and chapters in it, then using some of the features that I'm going to feature here would make an awful lot more sense. So let me just minimize this and we'll go back to InDesign and get started. Now, I have all the documents pretty much created. We're just going to fine tune them here. So what we're going to do first is build a book. Now, what a book is it is a way to bring a number of documents together. You'll see here that InDesign documents have the suffix INDD, InDesign document. Books have the suffix INDB, InDesign book. So what we'll do is we'll create a book. I'm not going to use the splash screen, but if you have the splash screen up, you can simply click on book here. If you don't have it, go to the file menu, choose new, and then choose book instead of document. Here I'm in the right folder, so I'll just call it Peppers. Peppers cookbook, like that. Notice that we name the book before we open it. Unlike a document, we open it and then name it. So I'll hit save. And when you create a book, you just bring in a panel like this. Now, this panel is like any other panel. You can dock it over here and bring it out like this, but I'm just going to put it in the middle of the screen for the time being. Now, what we do is we populate this with documents, and you can add and subtract them from this book whenever you want. At the moment, the only option we have available here is add documents. Everything else is dimmed out, but we'll be getting to those as we move along. First of all, I'll click add document like this, and here we have the documents that are ready to go in. I'll just select the first one, hold down the shift key, and have them all selected. Notice the Peppers book here, INDB. It's dimmed out because we can't add the book to the book, obviously, but it has the INDB suffix. Click on open, and then it populates this panel with the items here. Now, the first thing InDesign does is try and guess what order it's going to be in. In this particular case, it just took everything in alphabetical order and dropped it in here. Now, a good way to name your documents is book 01, book 02, 03. So if you bring them in that order, InDesign will automatically recognize the numbering and just pop them in the right order. However, in this particular case, it didn't work, so we have got to manually reposition them. And it's very simple to do. We'll take the cover and we'll move it up to the top here like this. There it goes. And then we will have the introduction. Now, one thing I want you to notice is notice the page numbering down here, the page range. As soon as I move this up here, the page range changes. And then we'll have the appetizers. The back cover is definitely going to go down to the bottom here. Entrees moves up above beverages and desserts, and beverages comes down. Now we have everything in order, and over here we have the numbering. It numbers everything logically. Now, when you're working with a book, the important thing to do is open the book and then edit the documents, rather than open the documents and edit it. If you do that, it's absolutely not the end of the world, but you will get a warning sign over here that this document has been edited outside the book, and you're going to have to update everything. So it won't destroy it, but the best way is to open your book panel, and then when you want to open a document, for example, the intro here like this, double click on it and you open it. Here, if I go to appetizers, double click it and it opens. Notice we've got this icon over here. Lets us know that the document is in fact open. Double click on Entrez and it opens as well. Now I've got page numbering set up in all these documents. So if I go to the master page here, you can see that I've got it down at the bottom. And when I go to any of the pages, notice how it picks up the numbering. In this document, it's not page 1, it's actually page 11. If I go to the appetizers, double click here, there you can see that it's page 7. So if I were to move this, let me just move it down here below Entrez. You can see it'll take a second, but it will in fact update. There it is. It's moved up to 11 from 7. So that's one of the great features of the book. It's a simple one, but as soon as you reorganize these documents within the panel, all the page numbering will be updated. So let me just move it back to where it should be here. So in the next movie, we'll take a look at changing some of this numbering to be more practical for us, and we'll take a look at adding sections.